The 12-week Shortcut to Size program revolves around one major concept, the microcycle. Microcycles are, as the name implies, short cycles that you follow with the amount of weight that you lift and the number of reps you complete per set. It's a system of periodization that is based on a week, so you change up everything each week. This has been shown to increase both muscle strength and muscle size. Now I'm going to break down all the information you need to know to understand how to use the microcycles. Each microcycle lasts 1 week. There are 4 microcycles in each phase, so each phase lasts 4 weeks. You repeat each phase 3 times. So you're repeating 4 microcycles, month 1, 4 in month 2, 4 in month 3, for a total of 12 weeks and 12 microcycles. The microcycles differ by the amount of weight that you use and the number of reps you complete each set. In microcycle 1, you're starting with light weight for higher reps. Then in microcycle 2, you increase the weight while decreasing the number of reps that you complete each set. Microcycle 3, again, you increase the weight again, weight goes up, reps decrease. And then in the 4th microcycle, again, you increase the weight, decrease the reps. And this is one where you're using very heavy weight for very few reps. In microcycles 1 and 2, on the last set of every exercise, you'll be performing 1 rest pause set. Then in microcycles 3 and 4, also on the very last set of every exercise, you'll be performing 1 drop set. This program is based on periodization, and more specifically, microcycles periodization, because the research shows it's most effective for strength gains and increasing muscle size. Now, the reason I chose the microcycles where you're changing up your weight and reps every week is because sometimes with longer periodization programs where you stick with a certain rep range for 4 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks or longer in some cases, your muscles they adapt to that rep range. So if you're using very heavy weight for 3 to 5 reps for several weeks, you're using heavy weight, which trains your muscles to be stronger. But it's not the best rep range for building muscle growth. So when you follow these programs, you have these periods where you're stronger, but you're not maximizing muscle size and can even lose muscle size during these long stretches. So with the micro muscle plan, you're changing up your rep ranges each week, which allows you to get those benefits of that rep range without losing the benefits of the other rep range because they follow right after. So it keeps switching it up. That way you get strength gains, you get muscle gains all combined, and you don't go through these periods where you're losing strength or losing muscle. After you've completed the first 4 microcycles, you're going to start right back at microcycle 1. However, what you'll notice is when you go back to this rep range, you'll be much stronger than you were when you started 4 weeks ago. So now, the weights that you use to get 12 to 15 reps, you'll be considerably stronger on. Depending on the muscle group, it could range from 5 to 10 pounds to even as much as 20 pounds, as some people have reported. To choose your weight at each microcycle is a little bit hit or miss with the 12-week Shortcut to Size. Now, some experts will recommend you use a percentage of your 1 rep max. That is fine and dandy, and you can use that method. But the problem that I find with it is depending on the type of athlete that you are, and by athlete I mean whether you're have more muscle endurance or more muscle strength. If you know your 1 rep max, some guys will drop down to a certain percentage to get to the 12 to 15 reps, but because they're great with muscle endurance, they have to use much more than the predicted percentage. So it doesn't always work out. I'd much rather you guys find the actual weight that limits you to, in microcycle 1, the 12 to 15 reps, rather than using, math to predict what it is when you're not gonna get to that exact point anyway. Most guys know what they can lift for about 10 reps. When you're going for the 12 to 15 reps, simply drop the weight by anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds, depending on the exercise, and start there. It's fine if you don't get it right the first time. Use that first set as an actual set to decide whether you need to add weight on the second set or decrease weight to stay in that 12 to 15 rep range, or if you've hit the mark and you can complete all 4 sets for that desired rep range. How much you'll be able to increase weight when you change from one microcycle to the next is going to depend on a number of factors. It's going to depend on the individual. Some guys are great in the lower rep ranges. They're very strong, but they don't have a lot of muscle endurance. So when they're in the 12 to 15 rep range, they're using light weight, but as they go to the rep range that best suits their muscle fibers' ability, they really fuck up. Others who are better at muscle endurance don't get as much of an increase as you go. So it's going to be individual. When you're going from the 12 to 15 rep range in microcycle 1 to the 9 to 11 rep range in microcycle 2, most guys are going to find that you can jump up somewhere around 5 to maybe 10 pounds. Again, some will be able to jump up more, some may even have to go a little less. Figure it out, try what you can, but you'll definitely see a big increase each week or microcycle. It's always a worry when training with heavy weight in low reps that you could get injured. But one of the benefits of the microcycles is that it reduces your chance of getting an injury. You're only sticking with that heavy weight in very low rep ranges for 1 week. And then you immediately switch back to microcycle 1, where you're going with light weight for high reps. That allows you to reduce your chance of injuries. And there's actually research that shows that yes, heavy weight for low reps can cause some damage to joint tissue, but going with lighter weight in high reps actually enhances the regeneration of that joint tissue. So after you finished microcycle 4 with the heavy weight, you then move on to the light weight for higher reps. So if there's any chance of joint tissue breakdown and damage from microcycle 4, you're regenerating it in microcycle 1. Another question I get asked a lot about the 12-week Shortcut to Size program is how much muscle soreness can I expect, particularly during the different microcycles. Now, that again is sort of an independent thing. Depends on your training experience. If you're fairly new or just coming back to strength training, you're going to have a lot of soreness regardless of what rep ranges you're getting into. Obviously, you'll have a little more soreness as the weights get heavier. That's because the heavier weight causes more mechanical damage to the muscle fibers, and that's going to give you more soreness. So even experienced lifters will notice that as they're going through the later microcycles like 3 and 4, they are experiencing a bit more soreness. However, you can also get muscle soreness during the high rep phases because you're still going to muscle failure. We've provided you a complete video on microcycles because it's the backbone of the 12-week Shortcut to Size program. You really need to understand what a microcycle is and how it's going to benefit your training and the results you get. We've provided you a complete breakdown of all the microcycles on the page below. Be sure to watch all the other episodes before starting the 12-week training.